If I told you this man was a baseball fan, you wouldn't see anything wrong with that, would you? But he's capable of killing for baseball. Literally. In sunny San Francisco lives Gil Renard. What started as a childhood fascination with the game for the salesman Gil quickly spirals into a dangerous obsession that threatens not only the career, but even the life of a famous athlete's family. He's a fan of Bobby Rayburn, a successful champion whom the Giants have just signed for $40 million. Without baseball, Gil can't imagine his life, and he even has a Giants-branded wristwatch. He's a crazy fan. Meanwhile, Bobby is basking in the glory, surrounded by journalists and photographers, before a press conference scheduled to start in an hour. He and his manager, Manny, are heading to the locker room. There's a lot of buzz surrounding this high-profile addition to the team. In the locker room, Bobby notices a mistake. His jersey and team number are now 33, but Bobby's number has always been 11, his lucky number. However, another player, Primo, already wears number 11. Manny responds with, "Jesus Christ died at 33, and they still haven't forgotten him. 33 is like 3 times 11, so you'll play 3 times better." These remarks only make Bobby think it's time to change managers. At Gil's workplace, the conference room is in chaos. They're discussing Gil's ineffectiveness. Their company sells knives and was founded by Gil's father. He's being criticized and is on the verge of being fired. Gil doesn't want to sell junk, but he's a salesman and has no choice. He's now been told to produce better sales results by the end of the month, or he'll be fired. At the press conference, Bobby greets Primo, the number 11 player, who wishes him good luck. Jewel, a sports reporter who also works on the radio, wants to interview Bobby, so she approaches his manager, Manny. Manny despises Bobby and considers him arrogant, overrated, and overpaid. Meanwhile, Gil is desperately trying to increase sales to avoid being fired by demonstrating a knife. He even shaves his arms to show its sharpness, and when his arm hair is gone, he starts shaving his legs. But it's all in vain. The clients aren't interested at all. Let's be honest though, Gil couldn't care less about sales. For him, baseball is what matters. So, while driving down the street, he comes across a vendor selling 2 Giants game tickets right in the middle of the road. $200 each. He tries to bargain, wanting to pay $125 per ticket. But it's the season opener. The seller is firm. $200 or drive on. A fan as crazy as Gil obviously buys the tickets for $200 and says he would have even paid $500. Bobby has a packed schedule. After practice, he has an autograph session, a trip to the hospital to visit a baseball fan, and a show to film. Gil has yet another potential client, Stanley Jackson. Gil asks if the man is happy with his current knife supplier, while Gil talks and shows not only standard knives but also a miniature one. Stanley isn't interested. He already has the same one from another company. He's staring at the TV, which is showing footage of women. Finally, he says they already have a 3-year contract with another company. This infuriates Gil, and he leaves. Meanwhile, Bobby has already gone to the hospital. He tries to lift the spirits of a sick child, telling him they have the same hairstyle, and the kid gets to shake the champion's hand. It turns out the boy's name is Sean, the same as Bobby's son. What a coincidence. Bobby gives the boy a baseball bat, and the boy asks him to hit a home run in tomorrow's game. He says he'll try. In the evening, after a long day, Bobby and Manny go golfing. There, the champion criticizes his manager. How could he schedule a meeting with a terminally ill child who has the same name as Bobby's son? He's outraged, but Manny only defends himself by saying he wasn't told these details before the visit. Sitting in his car, Gil is choosing a tie to wear to another business meeting. A nice tie, he thinks, is the key to success. An old-school approach. He arrives at the McKinley Everest Company for a meeting scheduled for 4 p.m. But the secretary tells him the meeting with her boss won't happen. It's already 4:11, Gil is late, and the boss is busy all day today. So the only option is to reschedule for tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. Gil reaches for his planner, the season opener. Baseball, and nothing is more important to Gil than baseball. He asks if they can reschedule the meeting for the morning or evening, but the man is flying to Chicago at 3 p.m. Gil tells a story to move the secretary, saying he wants to take his son to the baseball season opener tomorrow to be a hero for him because he already promised him. But what can a secretary do? Unfortunately, nothing. Manny calls early in the morning to wake up Bobby. Today is a big day. Bobby wants to hear some good news from his manager, but unfortunately, the news is only bad. The manager spoke with Primo's people, the guy who wears number 11. He's not just giving up his number. To change Bobby's number from 33 to 11, Primo's people are demanding $500,000. Manny bargained for a long time, but Primo insisted it was his lucky number. But ultimately, Bobby thinks to himself, It's just a number, it won't change his skill, so he's not going to spend $500,000 for a number. It's game day, so Gil goes to his ex-wife's house to pick up his son for the game. His name is Richie. She's been with another man named Tim for a long time, and she and Gil are not together, but his wife immediately spoils the mood and says their son has to be home by 6:05 or she'll call the police. Gil and his son leave, and on the way, Gil asks where his son got the baseball glove. It turns out Tim gave it to him. Gil doesn't like this, so he tells him to throw it away later. The stadium is already filling up with people. During warm-ups, Gil intently watches Bobby's movements, pointing them out to his son. But the son isn't as captivated as his father, and just asks for a hot dog. Jewel has also arrived at the game. She won't give up on the interview. The national anthem is playing, and the game has begun. Gil comments on a strike, but his son is watching the cheerful Giants mascot and misses everything. But in a tense moment, Gil urges his son to watch the game carefully. Bobby is running to catch the ball, and at the same time, Primo, number 11, is also running for it. They approach each other and collide, and Bobby's necklace with the number 11 falls onto the grass. Gil is upset. But at that moment, Bobby raises his hand and he caught the ball. The crowd comes alive. But they get up slowly. The commentators hope Bobby's insurance covers this. So much is ahead, and the $40 million player is injured. The ball flies right into the stands, and Gil doesn't miss the moment and runs to catch it, even stepping on his son's foot. But it's in vain. He doesn't catch it. Gil was thinking of making it to his business meeting, but just as he was about to leave, Bobby heroically returned to the field. However, he looks a bit stiff after his fall. He misses a pitch. Strike. His rib makes itself known with pain during movement. Gil shouts his support. In a thrilling moment, he feels for his necklace, but he doesn't feel it. This adds to the tension, and he misses again, another strike. This enrages Gil. He stands up and shouts that the umpire is crazy, bothering other fans watching the game, and a conflict erupts. An old lady has been staring at Gil and his behavior for several minutes, and he can't hold back and calls her an old witch. It's time to go. The meeting is about to happen. He leaves his son sitting in the stadium, and at the moment Gil runs off to his urgent business, Bobby finally hits the ball. He's a few minutes late, and the secretary's boss has left again. It turns out he went to the baseball game, not Chicago. His plans changed, and he left a note. This is a complete disaster. Gil changes clothes and drives back to the game, but when he arrives, the game is still going on, but his son is no longer in his seat. After the game, Manny tells Bobby that the sick boy Sean fell into a coma during the game. Sad news that only reinforces Bobby's already bad mood after the game. Even though they won, the injury will still make itself known. Gil goes to his ex-wife's house, realizing the boy was taken home. She's angry. The boy was crying after their meeting, and the same old lady the man called a witch brought him home. Gil shoves the door open and breaks into the house, pushing his ex and her new husband aside, and goes to the boy's room. He apologizes to him and brought pizza. They talk while the others try to break into the room, but Gil locked the door. They talk about his son's tryouts. He also plays baseball, just like his father did as a teenager. Dad is sure his son will make the team. The next day at work, Gil is called in for a talk. Gil's behavior is not acceptable to anyone at work. It's damaging their reputation. In short, he's fired. But years ago, Gil's father founded this company, but neither he nor Gil had the proper business acumen to keep it afloat. So now, in addition to all of Gil's problems, he is also unemployed. He lies sadly in his bed and dozes off. He gets a knock on the door and is served with a restraining order, preventing him from approaching his son. But the boys' tryouts are coming up. Gil can't miss this, so he goes to the stands anyway, where Tim is already sitting and supporting Richie. But Gil watches the pitcher, who is Richie's coach, and thinks he's throwing too hard. After all, it's the youngest league. But Gil can't control his emotions and walks right onto the field, wanting to change his son's bat, which he thinks is too heavy. Tim tries to stop him from interfering, but he almost gets hit in the head with the bat. His wife was also in the stands. She couldn't take it and ran out to her son to get him away from Gil. A conflict erupts. Gil's aggression issues once again bring his son to tears. Gil is sitting at home and sees a bug, so he throws a sharp knife at it. A man walking by outside sees this and is shocked, then walks on. This gives Gil an idea. He wants to damage his boss's car as a form of revenge. A sharp knife takes care of that. Meanwhile, before the next game, Bobby is obsessed with the number 11. He puts on a number 11 jersey under his number 33 jersey, thinking it will bring him luck. He also bought a new necklace. Gil is obviously in the stands. Bobby doesn't hit the ball. Strike, second strike, third. Bobby is out. At another game, a banner in the stands reads, "Go back to Atlanta," saying the Giants made a mistake adding Bobby to their roster. This time, Bobby hits the ball, but he doesn't make it to base, so he's out. Manny watches all this and asks Jewel if she's still interested in an interview. Gil calls the Giants' locker room and asks to speak with Bobby, but when Bobby picks up, Gil doesn't dare say a word. Bobby meets his son Sean from the plane and gives him a puppy. In the car, his son asks why his dad hasn't been hitting the ball lately. Manny brings up the topic on the way. People are already saying that Bobby ruined the whole season, but Manny has an idea to clear Bobby's reputation. He needs to go on an interview and say that he returned to the first game after the injury, only to keep his promise of a home run for the terminally ill boy. In short, to use this information to manipulate people's emotions and improve attitudes toward Bobby. But this idea outrages Bobby. He thinks it's shameful to make such excuses, but still, he'll go to the interview. When he arrives at the bar, Jewel greets him and asks how people's comments are affecting him, since he's playing terribly this season, only hitting 1 out of 5 balls. She argues that perfection doesn't exist, and he needs to learn from this. No one can be perfect all the time. In the next game, Primo is the batter. He's hitting all the balls, and the crowd is supporting him, while Gil calls him just lucky, not a professional. Bobby is upset after the game and gets into his car to the sound of people's bad comments. Only Gil is shouting good things to Rayburn, but Gil is obsessed. He literally has an entire wall covered with newspaper clippings about Bobby. On the beach, Bobby and his son are playing baseball, practicing. Gil is watching them through binoculars. This is a very unhealthy obsession. Gil tracks down where Bobby usually goes and also comes to this bar. When Gil greets Bobby, he doesn't even respond. While Gil goes to the restroom, he hears Primo and Bobby come in to settle some private matters. Bobby demands that Primo name his price, but Primo says that he offered to sell the number, but Bobby refused, so it's too late. A fight breaks out, and other patrons of the bar break them up. Jewel calls Bobby on the radio, and at that moment, Gil calls. He intentionally turns on the voice recorder to save this conversation as a souvenir. This is his chance to talk to Bobby. He tells him that he deeply understands his situation with the number 11 and considers Bobby the best player. He badmouths Primo, and this speech surprises the host. Bobby thanks him and says Gil should talk to Primo. He would convince him to give up the number 11. Gil listens to this recording dozens of times, takes Bobby's words literally, and tracks down where Primo goes. He's at a sauna. Gil comes to ask Primo for number 11, but Primo shows him a number 11 scar on his shoulder. He won't give up his number, and Primo tells him to get lost. A fight breaks out, and Gil stabs Primo in the leg with a knife. He gets sick and faints. Gil takes the knife and leaves. There is mourning in the Giants team. They have lost their longtime and loyal player, Primo. He is remembered before the next game, which will take place without him. Juan Primo lived for 28 years before Gil ended his life. A tense Bobby is about to bat. On his first attempt, Bobby hits the ball, but the crowd doesn't cheer for him. The game is spoiled by this mood, even though the Giants won that night. Manny convinces him that everything is okay. The police don't suspect Bobby's involvement in Primo's murder, so he's not in danger. Bobby feels bad. His heart aches for Primo. He feels guilty. The manager admits that in the end, Bobby isn't the heartless jerk he thought he was. Bobby stays with number 33, and in the next game, the crowd becomes more loyal, and Bobby plays better, hitting and making it to base. On TV, Gil watches a journalist ask Bobby, "What happened? How did you get out of a slump and start playing well again?" Bobby says he doesn't know how or why, but Gil is outraged. Why didn't the champion thank him for his help? He's the one who took care of Primo. Gil is watching Bobby's family again. His son Sean has swum out quite far, and the dog swims after him. The dog climbs on Sean and he starts to drown. Bobby runs out of the house and rushes to swim and save the boy, but literally out of nowhere, Gil surfaces. He saved the drowning boy, and Bobby is shocked and very grateful to Gil. But when asked for his name, Gil says his name is Curly, hiding his real name. Bobby invites him into his house. There, when Gil is changing into dry clothes, he sees the wardrobe and Bobby's number 11 jersey. He tries it on and proudly looks in the mirror. He puts on the jacket Bobby gave him to change into to disguise the jersey. Gil goes downstairs. Bobby thanks him countless times and notices that he seems to have seen Gil's face before. He asks if Gil likes baseball, but the man is determined to hide his true identity, so he replies that he's not a fan of baseball. "At least you're not one of those crazy fans." Gil asks why Bobby dislikes them so much. What's wrong with them? In Bobby's opinion, they are losers who live someone else's life, missing out on their own. And they forget that a player is also a human being with their own emotions and experiences. If you play well, they love you. If you play worse, they turn away from you and spit on your emotions. So, he thinks you have to play for yourself and your own life. Bobby offers to play pool, and the men spend time together. Gil has a request for Bobby. He wants to be the pitcher and throw the ball to Bobby. The champion agrees to this, and during the game, Gil asks how Bobby got out of his slump. How did he start playing well again? The man replies that he just stopped caring too much. Now he just doesn't worry about what people think. He no longer strives for perfection and has let it go. Primo's death brought him back to earth from his celebrity complex. They're just playing the game they love, and that's it. So he believes he shouldn't stress about it. This answer enrages Gil. He killed Primo for Bobby, and he doesn't care. Gil throws the ball with force, and the discussion continues. If you don't care about baseball anymore, what do you care about? Money, a house, a car? Gil asks. Bobby says he cares about his son. He's truly valuable to him. But at that moment, Gil takes off his jacket and shows the jersey he put on earlier. Although the man wants to continue pitching, Bobby stops it and tries to lighten the mood, thanking him again for saving his son and shaking Gil's hand. But Gil, like a madman, continues to insist. You're on a hot streak because Primo isn't alive anymore. Did that make Bobby happy? But Bobby doesn't understand this. How can anyone be happy about a person's death? No, he's not like that. So he says he's tired and is going to sleep, and that if Gil needs anything, he should call. This behavior obviously scares the baseball player, and he quickly goes into the house. While he's brushing his teeth, an idea comes to mind. He goes to his son's room, and Sean isn't there. It's a disaster. Gil stole Bobby's car and his son, along with the dog. He tells Sean they're going fishing. But what nonsense is this, fishing at night? He gives Sean his knife as a gift, so the boy doesn't suspect his new acquaintance's bad intentions. Bob is shocked and calls Gil. He's scared and convinces Gil to come back and return his son. The crazy fan Gil wants everyone to remember him every time they remember the champion Bobby, because he believes the baseball player's success is only thanks to people like him, the fans. Gil tells Bobby to look in the refrigerator and thank him for his services. There he sees a piece of skin with Primo's number 11 scar. Gil has reached the peak of his madness. He takes his son to a remote place where his old friend, whom he once played baseball with, works. He asks Sean to play along, as if Gil is his father. The friend, whom Gil calls Coop, accepts them. The boy plays with the dog outside while the men talk. They haven't seen each other in a long time, and Coop wants to know the truth. Whose son is this really? Gil tells the truth. Coop is shocked but not surprised, as he once saw crazy traits in Gil's character. After this, he goes to take pictures of them outside with knives. The police are already at Bobby's house. Everyone is determined to track down the crazy Gil. The man calls Bobby. The police equipment is ready. Gil wants Bobby to hit a home run for him tomorrow. These are his demands. He feels like the little boy in the hospital whom fate betrayed. But the difference is that Gil wants to see that home run. He also wants Bobby to show a picture of Gil on the big screen during the game and say that this home run is dedicated to Gil. A tense Bobby, under stress, agrees to everything. This is followed by a threat. If the opponent goes easy on him, he will harm his son. Gil hangs up, and Coop warns him that the man is in trouble and the police could come here, but he doesn't care. The tension increases and Gil wants to play baseball with Bobby's son. Sean nervously tells Coop that Gil is not his father. Coop understands everything, and at the moment Sean misses the ball, Coop throws it as far away from Gil as possible. While the crazy man runs after the ball, Coop tells the boy to run away and save himself. He helps the boy climb over a fence, and he escapes. But Gil punishes him for this so-called betrayal. The boy manages to run to the railway tracks, but Gil quickly finds him. Today is the decisive game. Bobby must hit a home run. Gil calls Jewel and gives her a spoiler. This will be the most fantastic game, the most important game of Bobby Rayburn's life. While they talk, Jewel tries to stall for time so the police can track the call. Jewel is convinced she hears the sound of the stadium from the phone. Gil is at the stadium. Suddenly, literally out of nowhere, it starts to rain, which only complicates everything. The umpire announces a break due to the weather. The police come to Gil's son and want to get more information. The boy Richie is sad, realizing that his father has gotten into serious trouble. The rain has stopped and the game will continue. The first pitch after the rain stops is a strike. Bobby doesn't hit it. The second pitch is also a miss. The emotional stress affects Bobby's game. There's no way around it. The rain intensifies again, and it all feels like a horrible dream. Bobby remembers his son, who is the most precious thing in his life. One more strike, and it will cost his son's life. He can't allow that. Third pitch, and Bobby hits it. Bobby runs as fast as he can, and he makes it to base. But no, the umpire calls him out. He's thrown off the field. But at that moment, Bobby looks into the umpire's eyes through the mask, and he sees those very eyes. It's Gil. It's the kidnapper of his son. Gil is armed with a knife. The police surround everything. The authorities are working to rescue Sean. Bobby demands that Gil return his son, but all he gets in response is, "Where's my home run?" What does Gil want? Gil wants to show his best pitch by throwing a knife at Bobby, but the police interrupt him with gunshots. The fan is no longer alive. At the old stadium Gil's son told them about, where Gil himself once played, they found Sean. Bobby is extremely happy to see his son. But the police found not only the boy, but also Gil's base. Everything is surrounded by Bobby Rayburn's life and baseball. And also, a newspaper clipping with a young Gil who saved a junior league championship game in school, the very moment when Gil was living his own life, not someone else's. A sad story of a man who got lost in life, of a man killed by his passion and obsession with baseball and another athlete. Share in the comments what you think about this story. And thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss new interesting episodes.